Alright guys, we're going to be working on an iPhone X today. Um, as you can see, we are set up and ready to go. Got our pentalobe screwdriver, get those two screws out at the bottom. The only other screwdriver you're going to need is the tri-tip. Got my needle nose tweezers, a spudger, the iFixit tool, and a little plastic pick. So get your iFixit tool down at the bottom there, and then obviously use your pick to break that adhesive all the way around. From there, you're going to go up to the top, come back around toward the bottom, and then back up the other side. This particular one had a little difficulty getting it out on the top there. However, be persistent, don't give up. But be very cautious because you do have your true depth camera, you have your infrared up there, you have your front facing camera, proximity sensor, just everything up top there. So definitely be cautious, don't put your pick in too far. And then you'll kind of see here even just a little extra and that thing comes free. I think it was just one of the clips holding in. And should be going here in a second. Kind of wiggle it down from the bottom too. Just a little side to side action as you're kind of working the top there, and there it goes. Right. Then you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I remember correctly, 5 little screws holding that EMI shield in. From there, obviously you're going to want to keep those all in order. That's the only shield that you have to take off. The difference between this and like an XS or an XS Max, they do throw in one Phillips head screwdriver, so just be aware of that. You don't want to strip those out just not knowing which one it is. And there we go. One more. I generally use my tweezers to pull that EMI shield off, but you don't have to. Either way, whatever works for you. And then you're going to want to disconnect the battery first, obviously. And then I generally trace back the LCD or OLED and the digitizer connections and disconnect those, and then come back up to the proximity and the speaker and all of that. There we go. Don't pull it off just yet though. You want to heat up that little ribbon just enough to pull that adhesive off of there, and that will come right off. And you can set that aside. You got 3 more screws, tri-tip screws, one of which does have a washer slash it's a little copper washer. Makes a connection with something when you actually close the phone back up, so make sure you keep that in the right orientation, and you don't lose that. I'll heat it up just a little bit here, just from the front side, not the back side, and that just makes things easier. You don't have to do it, but it is, it makes it way easier. So and you can use your needle nose tweezers to kind of pull that away. And then I go at it from just the side. You can trace the ribbon back a little bit. The major one is that proximity, and there's the harder one to kind of get down in and pop out. But once that's out, you're good to go from there. Grab the new one. Normally, before I put the speaker and stuff back on there, I would test it, but been having pretty good luck with these parts, so decided not to test it. I just decided to kind of roll the dice. So that's what we did there. Sometimes there's a little blue tab, so make sure you pull that, or else you're going to be covering up the front-facing speaker, and then Siri won't work, and voice to text won't work, stuff like that. So be cautious of that. Get those right back into their respective homes. Make sure that they do kind of click down in there though, and that they're sitting flush. Because if not, then same thing. It'll mess some stuff up. At least they just won't work proper. And that screw got away from me a little bit. I do carry extras with me, so if one does get away, I don't go searching for it. I just go and grab an extra one, especially if it's one of those, because yeah, they don't have to be the exact fit. Sometimes you can keep the screw on that washer, and it makes this part a whole hell of a lot easier. Other times, you do have to use your tweezers. You just want to make sure that the washer actually goes, and then there's the it's kind of hard to explain without seeing it, but it's like a lip, and that needs to sit flush with the top of the screen. And what I like to do is get it in there and then use my tweezers to kind of hold that parallel with the top of the screen. Very cool. I apologize, I'm kind of covering up when I actually connect it, but I go screen first, digitizer second, and then the sensors up top. Use my spudger on the very bottom connection, just because it's recessed down into the phone just a little bit, and I want to make sure that it actually connects. And then on this connection up top here with the ribbons, or that particular ribbon, you want to make sure that it's tucked in between the logic board and the battery. If it is stuck on the battery side, then you're going to bend that ribbon, and potentially it won't work at all, or at least some of it won't work. And then we just want to put those screws back in. Obviously don't over torque them. You just kind of want to make them snug. The best advice I can give you on that is about 1 finger weight of torque, so to speak. So, if you're holding it down with your finger there, once it actually clicks over, then stop. Don't screw it in too hard. Once you get those in, what I like to do is make sure that the top is in place. You obviously don't want to kink the ribbons on the side, which are the digitizer and the screen itself, because if you kink one of those ribbons, then most likely it's not going to work as far as like the digitizer goes, so you won't have touch, or the other option, which is the screen, and then you won't have a display. So side down at the bottom, work your way around the other side, go ahead and power it on. And from there, I like to just double check that the digitizer is working properly. Some of them do have what's called a compatibility issue. I'm hoping that they figured it out by now, but yeah, as soon as you see that all the points on the screen are working, then you're good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment. And look for my next one, which will be